Okay, what's good in the back? There's been some games on the road this year where we haven't performed pretty well, very well at all, and honestly giving ourselves a real chance today was quite a bit different. Obviously a close game throughout. We clearly didn't shoot the ball as well as we capable of today, but our kids battled. Came up short. It's a team that's very confident, and give tip your hat to them. And, certainly some things we can learn from this before we have an opportunity to play against them again in about 2 weeks. So certainly hate losing against these guys, hate losing here. But got to keep working with these guys and make them better. And effort was there, execution could use a little tweaking, and we'll get that done.
Was the problem mostly to score the ball with the looks you were getting, or something else?
No, I mean, they, for the most part, they're a team that defends the three well, so it was kind of sort of strength. I don't know if we're a great shooting team, but we're a good shooting team against a team that defends the three really well. One of the other ways you try to attack is by getting yourself to the free throw line when you don't shoot it well. And we didn't shoot well in the first half, but we got to the free throw line. And obviously, we got some really good looks, I thought, in the second half that didn't go down. There was a lot of adjustments because of foul trouble on both sides. They ended up playing without a big altogether. We ended up playing fairly small for a good chunk of the game. So then you change how you attack because teams play defense differently. With their bigs, they either get in drop coverage or they hedge the ball screens, and you can get some stuff behind it. Mike Marsh got the layup, got a cut for Q and a drive for Keller. But then they went to switching, which then closes down the driving lanes a little bit more. And then we just didn't make the plays down the stretch, and obviously that cost us.
How big was Marsh, though, coming in for Brandon? Obviously you had some foul trouble. So how big was he being able to step up and big for you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who's played a lot of games in his career. I thought he stepped up and did some really nice things for us. Hasn't always performed as well as he did today, but certainly something we think he's capable of replicating as we move forward.
John, Michael, you and Quion, season's not going the way you wanted it to. How have you kept your focus and play, like Mike said, with effort tonight?
You just got to understand that we still have a lot of basketball to play, and you can really turn this thing around with one good stretch. And us going through it last year, we had the confidence of what we were able to do, and we still feel like the guys this year are able to do the same thing. So we just try and preach positivity, especially to the new freshmen who haven't gone through this at all. Just try and keep our heads up and practice every day. We understand what we need to get better at, and we just work on it.
Going off what John Michael said, we understand we need to get better, and we also got a lot of new younger guys, so we just got to encourage them and stay positive throughout the whole time.
Like the second to last possession, that's the look you were wanting was in Javon's hands. What kind of took you through that?
A lot of stuff. Which one?
The deep two.
When he drove it.
The one where he was.
I can't remember.
Looked like you were trying to get it to Brandon on the post.
Because they were switching, we thought we could be able to get the ball inside. They just did a really good job of being physical with him and kind of pushing him off the spot. And I think John had the ball in front of my bench. Didn't really have a great passing angle, so at that point, the shot clock runs down. Somebody's got to go make a play, and Javon took it in there, drove it. Again, you got to live with what you get, man. We obviously want to get a layup or a wide open three, but with the shot clock running down and the game on the line, you got to take a shot that you can get. He got that shot. I'm confident he can make it.
To follow that up on the final possession, was that what you wanted, or did you maybe lose track on the time?
No, I think honestly, I mean, you can ask when he comes in because I'm not there. I think they were trying to foul and they tried to foul, and I think they fouled. And I think he assumed a whistle was coming and then didn't recalibrate the situation beyond that. So that happens because it's kind of a lot of things that you process. And once I thought once he got past the guy, he probably should have just taken a three at that point because he was open. And you're not going to get a better shot driving in there, and then he lost the ball. Well, that's your thoughts.
A lot of environment, hostile environment. Not the first time y'all played in a game like this, but was it in the second half especially where you're having to tell the younger guys, to stay level-headed and kind of keep it cool?
Not really. I mean, not really because of the environment. I mean, again, I wasn't hats off. This is the best crowd I've seen in 8 years. Here they did a very good job. Obviously, they rallied around a team that's playing really well. But our guys have been in these situations. We talked about it last week. Right? We went to Lubbock and Ames and Lawrence, so it's not like we're gonna see something that's more hostile. But I thought they did have a really good crowd today.
You wish they were hedging screens early. Do you think Javon kind of adjusted to that as the game went on? You struggled early and seemed to get going there towards the middle.
Yeah, and we started changing the angles that which we were screening for him at, and kind of getting some more movement behind it. But again, it's part of just the in-game adjustments you make, depending on how they haven't really hedged a ton. They usually play in drop coverage, especially with Hughley. And then obviously the big guy when Godwin fouls in that doesn't play much, you don't have as much tape on him at all on what he's good at in terms of, his numbers tell you that he's probably a good shooter, maybe 3. But in terms of how he moves defensively, we thought we could take advantage of him in space, and we got some good looks attacking him.
Coach, what was the conversation like with Javon after that turnover? Are you trying to help him out in the locker room after this loss?
The very last one at the end of the game, there hasn't been a conversation with Javon yet about it. I'll go back and watch the film, see exactly how I can help him get better the next time we're in the situation, and we'll get back to practice this week and work on it.
You mentioned the fouls on both sides that were kind of piling up. Did you have to adjust how you were telling your guys to defend based on the way the game was being called?
Yeah, again, that game to game, it challenges you. I think one of the things we did a better job of in the first half than we did early in the second half was once we got in the foul pressure situations was to keep being aggressive downhill, considering we weren't shooting great from the outside. We got to the free throw line a lot in the first half, and then I think we had maybe drawn 5 fouls in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half, and then we only drew a couple more for the next 10 minutes or so. But it's a learning experience for these guys. With a lot of freshmen out there, they don't really understand how to process that. It happens quick, and sometimes you find yourself open for a shot that you could take, but there's a better scoring opportunity somewhere else, and it's just a part of the process that you just got to go through.
John Michael, been in a bit of a shooting slump. How do you feel about the looks you've been getting, especially tonight?
I think my team has done a good job getting me open, getting pretty good looks at the rim. A lot of my shots in and out, so I'm not really losing too much confidence. Those are what I call good misses. So I'm just keep practicing my game and keep working on it. And keep, I hope my teammates keep trusting me, which I believe they do, and I just gotta make them. That's it.
And to follow up on what we were talking about earlier, was it kind of an angle with the passing that made it tough to get that ball down to Garrison at the end of the game? What did you see on that play?
Zero was on him, and he kind of pushed him out, and the shot clock was going down. I didn't want to put him in a bad position with 9 seconds left in that situation. So I just gave the ball to Brown, and made 2 back-to-back. Felt like that was the best choice at the time.
John Michael, not having a midweek game this week, kind of having a full week to prepare for the next opponent. What do you plan to do in that week, and what will that mean for your
first we'll watch film as a team, figure out what we did wrong, and obviously we'll start practicing. We'll start working on that, and then we'll move on to the next game. And that's the thing about this league, the Big 12. You just gotta be ready for the next one. You can't really sit and ponder on what happened. You gotta look forward, and that's what we're doing, and that's what I'm doing.
Mike, were you generally pleased with your defense tonight?
Yeah, it's best we've guarded in quite some time, honestly. It's been an Achilles heel. This particular group, it's just a little different for us, considering where we've been nationally in terms of defensive ratings. But I thought today we played with some resistance. I think we kept them off balance, switching our defenses up a little bit more, and then changing our ball screen coverages. I thought kept their 2 guards who were pretty good out of any kind of real rhythm. But they did a good job themselves adjusting. They went inside when they saw some switches and tried to attack the basket themselves when they got us in foul trouble. So just really competitive basketball game, but I did think our defense was better than it has been so far.
Quion, you guys have had some lopsided losses and then some close calls like tonight. With the way things have gone, does it make these close calls sting a little bit more?
I mean, you always don't like losing, so I just say we all take it as the same. Close loss or even bigger loss, we just got to get back in the gym the next day.
Mike, what do you do with the no midweek game? What's your next week look like?
I don't know exactly. We'll give these guys some more time to kind of cover. I'm not trying to belabor the point, but a lot of guys who hadn't been through this, right? It's been a mental grind for them. It's probably a good time for them to kind of step away, certainly mentally, kind of get their bodies regenerated, get with our trainers, and deal with some little knick-knack things that may be going on internally. And then, it's not like we can take the whole week off, right? We got to get back in the gym and start making sure we're sharp enough to get ready for the next opponent, which again will be a tough team.
Thanks, everybody.